Hello and welcome to This Is. Matt, phones are folding now, and I like it.
Yeah, you know, technology never creases to amaze me.
Creases? Creases? You... So I just got back from spending some time with the brand new Samsung Galaxy Z Flip, which for the record, can I say is a terrible name? I keep wanting to call it the Galaxy Z Fold, but the Galaxy
already fold.
Yes, It doesn't fold, it flips. So essentially what you're getting here is a folding display. With the Z Fold, it's actually a glass display, and we'll get into your crease in a minute. But I think there's a legitimately really good use case for folding phones, and specifically with the Z Flip, I think it's the best folding phone yet.
How do you think it stacks up to the Moto Razr? Because that's really the only one-to-one comparison we have right now.
So I went to the launch event of the Razr, like 2 or 3 months ago. And on top of it being by far the worst launch event I have ever gone to, with terrible lighting and Diplo playing like 10 feet away from where I was trying to record my video, the Razr itself, hardware-wise, I like the design, but the execution isn't as good, and the specs and the performance are nowhere near on the same level.
Just looking at the image of the two of them, I like the Razr more than I like the Flip. Just, again, looking at specs aside, everything like that.
Well, the thing is with the Razr, it has the nostalgia, right? I mean, I don't know about you, but I grew up wanting a Razr.
Again, the Moto is the only one that actually looks different.
Just before we go really deep into this, there are essentially two styles of folding phones right now. There is what Samsung has done with the Galaxy Fold last year, which is
hot dog. Hot dog.
Okay. Essentially, it's a phone which is roughly the same size as a standard smartphone, except it opens up to be essentially a small tablet. Or there's the Razr or the Z Flip, which is essentially when you open it up, it's the same size as a normal smartphone, but when you fold it, it's roughly half the size, which
Hamburger, hot dog.
Okay, I actually like that. My biggest takeaway with the Z Flip and the Razr as well, but mostly with the Z Flip, is that it is a more useful form factor. And now I know that I'm very much probably in the minority here. I think a lot of people prefer to have like something different with the Fold with that huge screen. But for me, I actually like having a phone which is smaller.
I'm with you on that train of thought. I mean, me being like, you know, I draw a lot and everything like that. As soon as the Fold was announced, I wanted an S Pen with it. And I thought this is a place where they can kind of differentiate the S line and the Note line again, because I mean, how long has it been since there's really been a difference between the two lines?
Yeah. My main thoughts going into this, just sort of purely from having hands-on time with all three of these phones, but more recently, of course, with the Z Flip, it is the best folding phone yet. Now, it is also $1,400, but it's the cheapest because the Razr is $1,500 and the Galaxy Fold is $2,000.
Are we really gonna award them a point for being the cheapest of the most expensive phones on the market?
No, but it is coming down. I can see, you know, a year from now, folding phones hitting the, you know, the maybe $1,000 to $1,200 market, which is very much in the same sort of realm as a lot of major flagships. In fact, what they also announced yesterday or the day before, depending on when you're watching this, is the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra, which is the super high-end sort of standard form factor sort of flagship. And that is also starting at $1,400. So we're in that sort of same ballpark, even though, and I'll get into this a little bit later, but the Z Flip actually does lose out on some features. Looking at the Z Flip versus like these new Galaxy S20s, it does not have the same processor, it doesn't have as much memory, it does not have 5G support, it also does not have as big of a battery, and it does not have the same cameras. You are making some sacrifices for the form factor.
I get that there's it's a new technology. With how much you're not getting, the Flip should be the same as maybe like the S20. Like
$1,000.
But for $1,400, you know, it's already obsolete. You know, it's everything right now is 5G, and you're buying a phone that's not the current technology just for a novelty.
So one of the things with all of these folding phones is that you actually have to split up the battery, especially with the ones like the Razr and with the Z Flip, because you have two fairly small sort of component areas where you can put things in. So it has a pair of batteries which combined are 3,300 milliamp hours. I'm curious to see. I actually think that should be okay. I don't think this screen or anything about this thing is going to be like crazy power hungry, but it won't be great. It'll be like fine. And if you add 5G, I just don't think it would be able to hold up as well.
Well, I mean, yeah, that 3,300 because if you're closing the phone, the screen is turned off, correct?
Yeah.
So your screen on time is what kills your battery.
You look at the Razr. The Razr has a much larger screen on
Yeah.
the front. And obviously, if you look at the Galaxy Fold, it had like a proper, actual, real smartphone screen. Like, you can use the Galaxy Fold closed. Mind you, it's a very weird, small sort of screen, but you actually can use it properly closed. Whereas the Z Flip is not like that at all.
It's interesting with the Fold because, you know, last generation of phone was everything was how can we get the bezels to be smaller, and now you have the Fold, which have the largest bezels of any smartphone, I think, period.
I like the look of the Razr, and in fact, the way they do the hinge is pretty clever if you're not jerry-rig everything, and that the entire screen, because obviously if you have something which opens and closes, there has to be a little bit of tension with the display. So essentially with the Razr, the screen actually goes in and out a little bit. So if you look on the bottom of the phone, it actually moves.
lifts up, and you know, you could see to the other side from
which helps when you open it all the way up. The hinge kind of pulls it taut, so it's pretty, I mean, there's a little bit of a crease, there's not much. This does not happen on the Z Flip. In fact, I think actually Samsung has a much better sort of hinge in that not only does it have like little fibers to keep dirt and dust from coming in, there's essentially no real area for like the screen to kind of like lift up.
Yeah.
But on the downside, it means that you do have a crease. Kind of feels like you've got like a screen protector, which is like slightly like bubbly or whatever in the middle, but it's not bad.
So the biggest complaint right now about any of the folding phones is how fragile they are.
So in addition to those little fibers inside the hinge is also much more durable, and it's very well enclosed.
Yeah,
so looking at it, I don't think you're gonna have a lot of issues. Mind you, it still probably won't be as good as a standard sort of like, what do we call it, candy bar style phone or whatever, like the normal Galaxy S20, the slab. But it feels way better than the Galaxy Fold and especially the Razr. With the Z Flip, I actually am not super concerned with durability. First of all, because it has the best hinge of any of these folding phones. It has the most durable display, but also think about it. A normal smartphone sits in your pocket with the screen exposed always, right? Whereas with these phones, unless you're actively using them, as soon as you close them up, the screen actually has some pretty decent level of protection. So while, yes, I do have some concerns, anytime you have moving parts, you're, you know, introducing some risk of failure, but I actually feel reasonably confident that these phones will at least last for a while.
Yeah, Jerry Rig makes the joke like, make sure you vacuum out your pockets for dust, whatever. But like, there's still the things like lint or your keys in your pocket. If they were for whatever, because they're not full seals, there's still a gap.
The Z Flip is close to a full seal.
Close,
not quite, but it's pretty close.
Lint could get in there, stuff like that. And if that's in there in your pocket, grinding around on the screen, that could be a real problem.
Now, obviously, I have not spent enough time with it. I just got 30 minutes of a hands-on. It feels significantly better than any other folding phone that I've tried. It seems to be, while not sort of super up to date with 5G and all these specs of like the Galaxy S20, for example, it is the most up to date spec. I mean, the Razr, for all the things I give it for, like, it looks so cool and everything, the spec is terrible, the camera's garbage. Like, there are major issues with it just fundamentally working as a phone. The Z Flip, while yes, you're losing out on some things, still like Snapdragon 855, still has Android, still has like wireless charging, fingerprint sensor. It still is a pretty up-to-date phone, if not maybe not quite cutting edge, but it's still completely usable, and it has good cameras, which I think is a complete deal breaker for any phone, folding or not. So while I don't want to completely just say, hey, go out and spend $1,400 on the Galaxy Z Flip right now, if this is an interesting form factor to you, I think this is by far the best way to get into it and really kind of experience something which is significantly different than any other smartphone out there.
If you're wholeheartedly endorsing...
I'm not, no. I am tentatively endorsing it to people who are interested in this form factor.
Right.
Yes, it is the best version of this phone, not for everyone yet.
So then, what happens to the Galaxy Fold? Is that?
Oh, it's old.
Is that, even a thing that people should consider now?
No, you should not buy the Gen 1 Galaxy Fold. But I say that more so because I think the Gen 2 is coming.
Yeah, ignoring even Gen 1. What do you think is the better form factor? Is it hamburger or hot dog?
I like hamburger right now. I like Z Fold right now. Z Flip. Flip. I think the Galaxy Fold and phones that actually have that sort of full tablet style experience, there's definitely advantages there. And I do think that we'll see that continue to evolve. Who knows? At the end of the day, that may actually win out as like sort of the ultimate form factor. For me though, I'm not a big fan of huge phones, and I think that the Galaxy Fold is kind of a little unwieldy already. If they can kind of slim it down and sort of Gen 2, Gen 3, it kind of gets to become a little bit of a better sort of compromise, I'm totally down with it. We'll see how this goes over the next couple of years, but as of like right now, beginning of 2020, I'm a big fan of the hamburger, not the hot dog. This is gonna be a really confusing metaphor.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
we should make an entire episode all about that. And if you want to find out more about not only sandwiches, hot dogs, and tech news, make sure to subscribe to This Is so you'll be always kept up to date with Matt's weirdest ideas that we decide to shoot in the early morning hours. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, don't forget